When it comes to the SS Poseidon, the first thing we think of, or at least the first thing I think of, is Irwin Allen's Poseidon Adventure. She is a fictional transatlantic ocean liner that leaves New York and is headed for Athens. But the blockbuster movie was not actually the first time she existed. She was actually the product of Paul Gallico. He first wrote the novel The Poseidon Adventure back in 1969. In fact, he was inspired to write the novel after a pretty traumatic experience. Back in 1937, Paul Gallico actually was on a voyage aboard the R.M.S. Queen Mary. The ship was in rough seas and actually encountered a rogue wave that would actually tip her to the side. The Queen Mary immediately righted herself after a few seconds, but it must have seemed like an eternity to Gallico and the passengers aboard ship. The incident frightened him so much that he actually wondered what would have happened if the R.M.S. Queen Mary would have actually capsized. That was the birth of the Poseidon Adventure and the SS Poseidon. As a matter of fact, the Irwin Allen classic was actually filmed aboard the R.M.S. Queen Mary, as she is permanently docked in Long Beach, California. The scenes aboard ship were actually emphasized by rocking the camera back and forth to simulate the open ocean. Irwin Allen would purchase the screen rights from Paul Gallico for $100,000. Initially, Allen was turned down to produce the film by 20th Century Fox. The studio had concerns for the price tag of such a project. However, Irwin Allen did not give up. And after returning to Fox Studios, it was determined that the entire project would cost $5.1 million. Fox would agree only if Allen would put up half the money to fund it, which he did, and the Poseidon Adventure was going into production. And that would prove to be the visual birth of the SS Poseidon. The filming of the cast occurred aboard the R.M.S. Queen Mary. However, the scenes of the ship in the open ocean as well as her capsizing needed to be done by a filming model. The filming model would be modeled after the actual plans of the R.M.S. Queen Mary. At a total cost of $60,000, she would take 3 months to complete. She would be completed by a crew of 15 people. The finished model would be 21 feet 6 inches long. She would weigh around 1 ton. The model would also be equipped with rotating propellers, interior lighting, lit smokestacks, as well as smoking funnels. This was all powered by internal batteries. Explosions on screen while she was capsized caused damage that would be repaired later after the film was finished, and she would be actually used in television commercials. The filming model currently resides at the Los Angeles Maritime Museum, located in San Pedro, California. Named after the Greek god Poseidon, we are introduced to the SS Poseidon in the film. She is on her final voyage. She is leaving New York and headed to Athens. New ownership of the vessel deemed her to be outdated, and she would be sent to the scrapyard after her final journey. There was a problem with the pumps, so initially they were unable to take on more ballast. Knowing that she was top-heavy, Captain Harrison was reluctant to order full speed ahead. However, ownership being represented there by Mr. Linarchos forced him to do so. He reminded the captain that there were others aboard ship that were certified that would give the order if Captain Harrison did not. Reluctantly, the captain would give the order to go full speed ahead. The SS Poseidon was an 81,000-ton ocean liner. However, she was top-heavy, which meant that she was in danger of capsizing. Captain Harrison was told by Greek officials later that there was an earthquake in the vicinity, and later something would show up on the radar that would eventually be seen by the lookout. It would in fact be an enormous wall of water heading towards Poseidon's port side. The captain would give the order to turn hard to port. He would also have the alarms sound. He would also give the order to send a mayday as well. An enormous wave would hit the ship at 10 o'clock, off of her port side. The resulting force would turn the ship over towards her starboard side, and being top-heavy, she was unable to reset or right herself. As a result, the ship would capsize. A handful of survivors would be able to make their way up to the engine room. They would eventually be rescued, as the rescue team would cut a hole in the bottom of the hull back near the propellers. The last time we would see the SS Poseidon would be after a handful of survivors would be rescued. We would see her red hull and her port side propellers. We would see her again in the sequel, Beyond the Poseidon Adventure. However, that's a different video. Well, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this short video on this fictional but iconic vessel. I'll be starting my model build series on this beautiful ship very soon. I thank you so much for watching, and until my next video, I'll talk to you soon.